This great transformation is really affecting companies and driving creativity and innovation across all sectors. And so I'd like to introduce to the stage Rupal Parekh, who's the partner from Work & Co. Please welcome Rupal. We have Kat Garcia, who's the co-founder of Ground. Welcome, Kat. We have David Silbergleit, who's the CEO from PIMS. And we have Remy Ruan, who is the VP International Beauty General Manager for Digital at InnovShop Group. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. So good to see everybody. It's the afternoon. You've heard a lot of amazing sessions today, gotten a lot of inspiration, but we have a little bit of time here, but we're going to try to do a lot and give a lot of actionable takeaways and thinking about the latest in agentic, unlocking personalization, and integrating AI directly into products and experiences. So I'm going to start with you, Kat. So you are the co-founder at Ground AI, and first of all, you bring a lot of amazing expertise to the role. You've been a management consultant, a recording artist, an actress, and most recently an entrepreneur with your company that started in 2024. And you're working with everyone from Makeup by Mario to SoloWave in helping these brands to grow really intentionally with AI. And so, you know, in the DTC revenue sector, you're delivering a lot of impressive results for your clients, and you're doing that through real-time predictive personalization and sensing consumer intent during that shopping journey. And so from the different success stories that you've been seeing, could you share with us, like, what is the most compelling example of how AI drives impact that's actually measurable? Because I think that's what everyone wants to understand.
Totally. It's really funny, I think, even the inception of Ground AI, because when my co-founders and I sat down, we didn't really want to tackle AI or even a technology by just simply creating something that would be a tool or a technology. We're technologists, yes, and so my co-founder and CTO, he has a PhD in AI machine learning, but I was a former head of growth, so I was taking a lot of different businesses to market, and I was really understanding that there's predictive behavior that can allow us to better understand and cater those experiences to help companies grow. And so when we launched, you know, our first AI model, we started working with a couple of our investors and their friends, and so David Olson, who is the CEO of RMS Beauty, he took a call, and I remember that call quite fondly because he was like, what do you mean that I install Ground AI in 15 minutes and then you're gonna make me, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars? How does that actually work? I don't believe you. And so I was like, well, David, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not sitting here selling magic. It's, at the end of the day, it's predictive models. So if it works, great. If it doesn't, you're never gonna hear from me again, and I'm gonna look pretty dumb in front of my investors. And so I said, you know, let's just let it run for 30 days. I'll give you a 2x ROI guarantee or your money back. He was like, okay. And after 30 days, Ground AI, with one of our AI models, was able to increase their first-time customer revenue by $60,000. And I got a call, and he was like, wait, how did you do that? Can you do it again? And he ended up calling a lot of his friends that are now, you know, our brand partners like Violetta Farr. He actually called Gwyneth Paltrow and was like, hey, you know, maybe this could be helpful for Goop. And so he said, hey, Kat, maybe you should talk to GP. And I was like, how is it that I was an actress and I'm now closer to Gwyneth? Like, Gwyneth Paltrow now knows my name instead of, you know, now as an AI founder. Yeah.
Impressive. That's a great story and great word of mouth. So those are great examples. That's a great example that you bring up. as agentic and AI is evolving, what's really the next frontier? What would you say is coming up for predictive technology and e-com?
Yeah, I would say that I like to think of AI as like a 3-tiered model, or even as like a strategy. Like a lot of brands think about, there's a huge buzz around generative AI because it's exciting, but I'd say that at the end of the day, every single brand needs to think about their AI roadmap as, well, I need to get to know my customer. And if I know my customer, then I can better personalize experiences to them. So predictive comes first, because if you're able to have AI models that can predict when your customers are going to buy certain products, what do they want to buy, when are they going to come back, and actually cater experiences on the website via email and SMS automatically for you, then you have greater predictability, but then also more revenue that is profitable. And then if you take that into the agentic space, then maybe you have more, for example, AI agents that can automate and personalize experiences from a communications perspective. And then finally, that's really where I would say generative makes sense, only when you actually know your customers, because then you can actually use Gen AI to say, well, these are the segments of my customers, and therefore, because I know visually, what they like and what they're gonna buy, then I can create thousands of different permutations for my ads, or I can have different models that look like the kinds of people that my customers want to buy from. But you can't skip and say, I want to do the fun stuff and get to Gen AI if you're not even profitably growing your brand and getting to know your customers.
Awesome, thank you. So we're going to move on to David. I have a few questions for you. Thanks for being here. So David is the CEO of PIMS, as we heard, and PIMS, a little bit about the company, a leader in fulfillment, logistics, and packaging. You have amazing brands on your roster, everyone from Estee to Drunk Elephant, Gucci, MAC, Sephora. And you also have a lot of scale. You're operating across the world, 4 different continents. And so as you engage around influencer gifting and other areas like personalized e-commerce fulfillment, what are you seeing in terms of trends for how AI can enable more precise personalization?
Yep.
And that could be across the supply chain or other areas. Share a little bit about what you're seeing.
Great question. I mean, first of all, Kat answered everything that I was going to say, so I might as well not even talk now. But it's
She also had a Gwyneth Paltrow mention.
She said it much.
So,
Yeah, she mentioned Gwyneth Paltrow. No, in reality, it's all about experience, right? The customer journey, the experience. I forget who mentioned it earlier today, talking about the customer journey, but we've been around for 37 years. There was no AI when we started. There were no influencers when we started. It was still the media, right? But it's all about creating an experience and better memory that's from the unpackaging moment, the unboxing moment. What AI is doing for our brands that we work with is it's creating a way for them to speak to their community better, to understand their community better, and it's allowing us, which we've always prided ourselves on being able to be the ultimate personalizers, to make up a word. I was a communication major in college, so I can do that. But in reality, what it's allowing us to do is really speak to those that are receiving the packages, whether it's on the consumer side or the influencer side or the retail side. It's about making, whether you're sending it to 10 people or you're sending something to 10,000 people, they have to feel like they're the only ones receiving the packages. Mm-hmm. Now, something that you were just mentioning, Kat, as well, is the more data you have, the more you can speak to somebody and personalize something, but you have to be careful too. You don't want to sound or seem intrusive. So part of what we do when we're advising our clients and talking through how they're utilizing AI and their data is talking to them about collecting data on their own as well. So maybe it's a survey on their website. Maybe it's some sort of interaction at an event, because you can use, I keep saying AI, it sounds like I'm being very repetitive, but you can use AI data collection on the back end to create an environment. But when you're actually speaking to somebody, if you're not including the information that they provided, it makes the recipient or the consumer wonder, wait a second, who's watching me? How am I, what are you collecting? What else are you doing behind the scenes? But if you can include the data that they're giving you, it sounds like you're really listening. So for the brands, the goal is you want to create a loyalty. You want to create, everything's about retention. It's much easier to retain a client or a customer than to start from scratch. So in order to do that, you have to build a community around your brand and speak to those individuals that are loyal to you.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, it sounds like a lot of intentionality and really blending.
Yeah.
You are balancing that efficiency with the human factor.
Exactly.
And making sure that you're being really careful on that front. So as you engage in this space further, you're obviously very, you're even engaging in one-to-one experiences a lot. What does that mean for the emerging technologies or applications that you're excited about and you're seeing that we should all know about how you can make brand experiences even more agile?
There's new technology every single day. It's a matter of making it seem seamless. That's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. If something is changing every single day, if something is constantly in motion, it doesn't make people feel as comfortable. You mentioned it, how do you get involved with AI at the beginning, and oh my God, there's a fear behind that, like what are we doing here? But if you can integrate with making it seem like it's a completely seamless process, that's the goal. And it may be chaos behind the scenes, but to the customer, to the recipient on the end, that's who needs to feel like it's, again, as I said before, that you're listening to them, that you're not changing things constantly on them, but you're actually working towards building the relationship with those individuals.
Seamless is such a good segue for you, Remy, I think.
Yeah.
So Remy's
You're
sitting
welcome.
the furthest. Remy has also come from the furthest distance. Look up Reunion Island if you haven't. That's where Remy's from. And so we're so happy that you're here with us today. And I know you also spent a lot of time in Paris at InnovShop, which is based there. So a little bit about the company. You work closely with all manner of global retailers to elevate the in-store omni-channel experience. And I think we may have an asset that we could show to help explain and illustrate what we mean by this amazing recent.
That was PIMS.
That looked about.
But we can talk
Yeah,
about
that was
it.
PIMS, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I like that too.
there we go.
Yeah.
Example of how you partnered with Perfect Corp to introduce an AI skin analysis tool. It's called Skincare Pro. And it exists on self-service mirrors with iPads at Amazon's first ever parapharmacy in Milan. So share this project a little bit
sure.
about it with us, how it came about, and how this integration has really been helping to enhance the customer experience.
Yeah, so the purpose of this project is very simple. Amazon was looking for what can be the good customer experiences, but here is more physical customer experiences. And the purpose that we have at InnovShop is really to create the good customer journey. We're a retail producer company, so it means that we have to find how to create the, let's say, perfect customer journey and experiences in shops, and find the best way to make it happen. So we're looking for the good technology and the good services that we can bring to this project. We did a lot of different stuff in it, and one of the main focus is what we did with a specific zone that we call the Derma Bar section, with a simple idea at the beginning, which was what can be the best icebreaker that we can create between a salespeople and a customer in a shop. Most part of the time, but I think that we got to have this feeling as a customer. You come into a shop, and by the way, you did it very well, and you do it very well in America. This is not the same in Europe, but every salespeople are very happy to have you in the shop, etc. But most part of the time, they ask you this question like, how can I help you? And I guess that we are almost all the same. We say, no, that's okay, I know what I want. And so that's a way to miss sales sometimes, this approach. So we wanted to find another approach, another icebreaker, and we find the perfect AI solution with Perfect Corp, with their skin analysis tool. And we say, okay, that can be very crazy if we can create a specific moment where when you arrive as a customer in the shop, the sales vendor can say, oh, can we do a skin analysis together just to target some things and to change this? Can I help you by, can we do that? So we did it. Amazon loved totally the idea to make it this way. And we created what you have the picture. So just before it was some rough and design idea of what can be the concept of the shop. Obviously, we did the furniture, we did the production, and so on, and especially we did those mirrors that you got in the picture. And the idea was, yeah, to create this moment at the beginning of the journey where you can use the technology to justify the prescription with the customer. And so it seems that it's a kind of success. Because the impact seems to be very important on the sellout, and it justifies, the possibility for the vendors to explain which type of routine you can use, which type of skincare stuff you can do, and we just totally remove, because I don't know if you know all the tools, but inside the software itself, you can go to the product prescription. The only thing we did is that we removed for the moment this part, just to allow the vendors to use the AI diagnostics, then to do the recommendation by himself and to justify the human being. This is what you say just before. It's the human still in the middle of it. So the technology here is not here to totally replace it, but just to enhance it, and to make it having more sense in the sales process.
That's incredible. So integrated between the store employee experience, the actual physical experience. From your perspective at InnovShop, what emerging applications of AI do you think are going to have the potential to keep reshaping how businesses, stores are actually operating and engaging with customers?
That's the question that I think everybody would like to have the answer, but we can predict the future. And so, no, more especially...
What do you think today?
Yeah, today.
If we come back in another week, you might have a different answer. What do you think today?
No, but the point is this one. We don't know, and this is what we all say, and I think it was the purpose of the day. This technology goes so fast and so fastly that what was true sometimes on Monday is not even true on Friday. So that's very complicated to pretend to know what will be the usage of tomorrow and how to use it and what is the way we need to go. So for sure, and we are in different business, but we are using the same tool, personalization is something very important that we need to be focused on, no matter then how we will use technology to make it happen. And to make it simple. That can sound very basic to say it like this, but it needs to be simple, That's also the purpose here. We didn't use all that the technology can bring. We make it as simple as it is, just to enhance it and to see step by step and day after day, how can we make it happen better and better. So no, really be focused on this, the personalization for sure, and enhance the human being on the sales process.
I think one common thread between what you all have said that really stands out, and if we were to compare, if we were all here a year ago and talking about the impact of AI on the retail industry and the fashion industry, beauty industry at large, I think we heard simple, very simple experiences. We heard highly, highly personalized in ways that don't feel intrusive, right? And we heard about seamless, blended, and integrated. And that really strikes me, something that we talk about at Work & Co., where I work. We're a design and digital products company, and we work with a lot of luxury companies in particular. We work with Givenchy, J.W. Anderson, Phoebe Philo, and in that space in particular, this notion of AI almost feeling like magic, is really critical because you don't want to interfere with that customer experience. And so something I'm wondering, and you can all jump in here at any point, is just if these AI experiences are becoming, if AI is really almost taking a backseat, is invisible in a lot of senses, and fully integrated into discovery throughout the purchase flow, what does that mean in terms of user behavior? Are they going to realize that AI is there? Do you feel it perceptually? And how does that change how users are behaving?
It's been quite interesting. A lot of our brand partners, whenever they, see case studies, they're like shoppers of the other brands we work with, and so they'll say something like, "Oh my goodness, your Ground AI! Like now that I understand how your technology works, I got." An email out 1:06 in the morning when I was lurking. That was you because you put the exact product that I was gonna buy. You got me. So even though it is seamless because it's, it feels sort of like the brand knows you, there isn't anything more compelling to you as a consumer, right? Like if you are giving your data as, first-party data, zero-party data, you want it to be used in a way that is going to help your everyday life. And so even though it is invisible in many ways because it's algorithms or it's like edge AI, it's algorithms that power decision making of how we are kind of like, personalized experiences too. It's recognizable only when you have a discussion around it and you're like, you guys are so good.
I'm going to I was in Europe last week at another conference, and Wayne, who's sitting in the front row right there, used a phrase. He said, "Is personalization at scale?" So that's what AI allows. It allows you to speak to a large number of people without them realizing you're speaking to a large number of people. But then, to add on to what you were talking about in the retail locations, it's remembering the information that's being provided to you. So you start off with creating an environment that allows you to feel like you're part of the team, exactly. That you're remembered, that you're respected by the brand, and then the more they can learn from you based on the information you're providing, the more connection you feel. I know it's a bit different from the normal brands that we're talking about, but per the majority of my outfit right now, I always look at Stitch Fix and somehow always work it into a conversation. But I every single night, the last thing I do before going to bed is I basically play Tinder for my if that's the dating one. I'm dating myself right now, but I swipe left or right to see if it's a style that fits me, and then what they do is they add a human touch to it, so they take their algorithm based on every single night, me swiping left or right if something's going to look good on me, maybe or not, and then they give it to a stylist who says, no, that's not going to work on him, and based on his results and purchases in the past. But they're constantly learning and they're constantly communicating with me. I get emails that seem very personalized, and not the same way that when I go on Instagram I see an ad that pops up because I was just talking about it, or I happen to make a search and now I'm bombarded with this. That's intrusive. That's what I was saying before about it feeling intrusive. But because it's information I'm providing, I will keep buying from Stitch Fix until I'm broke because they're listening to me.
Those
they
are
understand.
good shoes.
These are the one thing that's not Stitch Fix, but it is an Instagram purchase. So either way, I just buy whatever I see. I'm impulsive.
Remy, you have a thought?
Yeah, well, that's a tough question, and I'm not so much involved as it can be on the way to use it as a personal person yet, but at least concerning the way that we're going to use it professionally, more exactly, will really be to create this link, because once again, our purpose is to work offline, in fact, at Enough Shop. So how can we use that to create this link between online to offline? We heard since years that the retail, it's an online to offline experiences and so on. And for sure, more and more, and we saw it with Amazon and with other projects that we are working on, we will probably use the AI to break the online to